The Circuit with Valerie. I'm your host, Valerie Somerville, and today we're talking about ladies in a lively living room, hearing what women don't say. Our guest, Sherida Holmes, Ashley Patterson, Princess Millens, and Angel Devon. So ladies, I know that all of you are successful in what you do. Tell me what success means to you.
Success means to me, I think, when you've been dreaming as a kid and you start to see those same pictures you saw as a kid, that you're now walking out those things. And for me, it's not always about money, it's about the opportunities that have been coming for the last 15 years that I keep seeing. And I keep having these deja vu moments. And I'm like, oh, I remember thinking as a kid I would see this or do this. And then now to see it come into fruition, to me, that's what success is.
Wow. What about you, Princess?
That's good.
I think that success, it can be subjective,
Okay.
depending on who you're talking to.
Absolutely.
But it always, no matter if you're talking about fame, no matter if you're talking about fortune, what I think success is a combination of dedication and consistency.
That's
Because
good.
you have to be consistent and dedicated to the thing that you want to come to pass.
Yes.
So I agree with you, Sherida.
Yes.
It's something that that you see yourself in the future, and your ability to have that perseverance to walk it out. But it's a combination of that consistency and that dedication that's going to get you there.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
That's good. Angel, what about you?
So y'all coming out the gate like this? I guess that's the definition of it. So when I think about success, I think about the difference between doing what you got to do and doing what you were created to do. So for me,
about
success means living my purpose, living out the exact thing that I was created to do.
Yes.
And in combination with everything you talked about, it doesn't have a dollar amount on it, but everybody was created for a reason and for a purpose. And doing that thing is success.
And you know what? When you talk about purpose, passion automatically goes with purpose.
Exactly.
So
Absolutely.
when you become successful, when you're dedicated, when you're consistent, the things that you dreamed about, passion is automatically kicks in. Ashley, what about you?
Listen, piggybacking off of what everybody said, I also believe that those little successes, they matter. I
Yes.
spent a lot of time trying to go through the milestones, and it takes so much longer. But when you get those little successes, it just makes me feel good to know that, okay, God, this is what I'm created to do, and I did it. You know, and I still have a whole bunch of evolving to do.
But you know what? That's really good for a young lady that may be in college, because sometimes we look at the big picture,
Yes.
getting to the doctorate, getting to the dream job, but just being able to graduate from college
Absolutely.
is
Exactly.
great in this day and age. And then going on to your master's, because a lot of times they'll say, okay, well, I'm going to take a day off. Don't procrastinate.
Absolutely.
Continue when you're talking about success, because sometimes those years off take you off track. So
Absolutely.
be successful. If you have to take a year off, take that year, but continue to pursue your dreams. That was really, really good, ladies.
Exactly.
So here's 3 words that I want you to expound on: destiny, development, and dating. Destiny, development, and dating.
Okay. Okay, and so the way my mind works, I'm putting them all together.
Separate them first.
Separate them first. Okay, destiny is having an idea when I'm at point A, trying to get to Z, and the destiny is everything that happens in between. Dating? How long we got? Has had its ups and downs and whirlwinds and cyclones and hurricanes and all of that. But dating still is, there's a purpose. There was a purpose in it, because I heard this thing long ago about you meet people for a reason,
Yes.
a season, or a lifetime. Now your girl kind of got it mixed up a couple of times, but you know, I think I'm on the track now. But what was the other one?
And the other one was development.
Development. Development to me is when I see myself I'll even say right now.
And it doesn't have to be you.
Well, yeah, or people. And then you have to always know that you're always learning and growing. And so it's the development in between all of that that kind of, kind of makes it make sense, I guess is what I should say.
Okay.
And the reason why I wanted to string it together is because through my development, the destiny to dating has finally
Yes.
come to a greater fruition. But I think I needed to have all of that to get to a better place for dating.
Okay.
Yes.
Anybody else want to take a stab at it?
Whew. When I think of dating, I'm real traditional. I think of courtship.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a lover of love. I'm a lover of time in that love space.
Okay.
So I think that's really important. Oh goodness, development. Whether it's dating, career-wise, your personal life, I feel like it takes time to get there, not rushing. We talked about consistency and all the other stuff. That's a part of your development. That's necessary. What is it? Destiny, development, and
Dating.
dating. What did I miss? I'm sorry.
I don't think you missed
Did I
anything.
miss anything? Okay, well that's pretty much it. Just making sure that it's consistent. And again, I'm a lover of love.
Yes.
Princess?
Destiny is the destination. It's when I get to the end and I can see the success that we talked about before.
Yes.
So that's, to me, destiny, it lends to legacy. So it goes further into the future and you're there, you're actually sitting there at that place of success, of that place, that final thing.
Yes.
And all of it is what you said about what are we here to do? What is our purpose?
The purpose. What's your
So our
why?
destiny
Yeah.
is filtered into that.
Yeah.
Our development is the process of us doing that. The process on what we go through, the things that we have to do to get to our destiny. Dating, I'm traditional too. I wish it would go back to courtship, but destiny, dating for me is just you getting to know each other. So let's go back to the beginning. I think for dating, I think sometimes we try to rush it too much instead of just trying to get to know the person.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I've got something on that. Yes. Go ahead.
So destiny, I think it ties back into the very first question you asked about success. When I think about destiny, I think about fulfillment of purpose and reaching that thing that I've dreamed about and getting to this place that will kind of pay me for everything that I love. Pay me for my passion, pay me for taking the time to learn a specific thing and pursue it. And so when I think about destiny, I think about a location of, I won't say the end, but
Right.
not the end, but somewhere that is accomplished or that speaks to me reaching a goal. When I think about development, I think about the failures, the successes along the path to reach the destiny.
And the lessons learned.
The lessons learned.
The lessons learned. When you talk
Yes.
about development, you can't leave out the lessons.
Can't leave out the lessons. No losses, just lessons. And so we can't talk about development without talking about the failures and mistakes that we make. Because I think a lot of times we think about success, but we don't account for the failures along the way to reach that success.
Your journey.
So development, includes it all. And then dating, I just have to say this. So I'm traditional as well, and I want to be courted, and I like it.
Yeah.
I enjoy the courtship, but can I date a couple people?
See, that's where I was going. So
Until I figure out that I want this one to court me.
It's practically okay. It is perfectly fine. Practically fine and perfectly fine. Absolutely. But I want to jump in here on destiny because I want us to think about this. Yes, it is where we get to that destination. And I like when you said about legacy because destiny never stops.
Exactly.
Even when you get to legacy, you've got another destiny. destiny.
Yes.
And so when you think about it like that, you have goals. Even when you've reached that pinnacle of one thing, there's another something.
Yeah.
It sure is.
And so it may be more personal at that point versus career driven. It may be wealth, but or health, whatever that is for you. But dating. So assuming that dating is getting to know multiple people,
Right.
the interview stage,
Okay,
right?
come on,
Yes.
yes.
How long are you willing to consistently date before that person needs to make it exclusive?
I think 6 months is a good time to kind of start talking about exclusivity.
Okay.
Because to me, if I'm dating several people, and let's be clear, because people get this confused, I'm not talking about having sex.
Sleeping with,
I'm
right.
saying
And you
we're
have
going out.
Exactly.
I may meet you there for the first 3 months, and we just have dinner or a movie or something. So let's be clear about that part. But
Yeah,
in
and I
my
think
mind,
that needs to be stated up front, guys,
Yes.
because they get a whole nother idea.
about
Yep.
dating, but you know, my dating rules, no, you sit over here, I sit over here, and we can still have a good time because I need to
Absolutely.
get to know you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But once it's narrowed down to one person, in my opinion, by the time we've got to 6 months, then I feel like I've not only met the representative that shows up first,
Right.
Right.
I now get to see who you are.
Right.
And it takes 6 months, trust
Yeah.
me.
So then with those 6 months, would you all agree about the 6 months,
I
or
agree.
does anybody say longer? Well, I see you iffy. What's the edge?
Now, when I was in my 20s, I did say yes, but now I feel like we're all of age to where we know almost exactly what we want. Maybe 3.
Okay.
I'm
Oh, so
still
you
in that
want
3-month
shorter.
period,
Okay.
just a little shorter. Because
Okay.
if you're dating multiple at the same time, I don't want 6 months to try. I need
Okay.
just a little
Okay.
less. Because that's work if you think about it, and it's good work, but I don't want to work that long.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
Okay.
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 So you're narrowing
Just
them
narrowing it
down,
down quicker.
just a little
Yeah,
bit
quicker.
quicker.
Yes.
Got
Okay.
it. Now, are you using a list?
I used to. Now,
Okay, because I was going to say, get
before I lied.
No, and
We're in the living room.
it's nothing
Right.
wrong with having. The reason why I say that, it's nothing wrong with having expectations and a
Right.
standard.
Exactly.
But you have to be able to relax with that list a little
Yes.
bit, because you may have a great guy and
Exactly.
he doesn't check off all those boxes.
Exactly.
Right.
So that is
Exactly.
that. I just want to
Yeah.
make sure nobody's in here sticking to the list.
Taking a shredder.
6 months, I think, is a good time frame, because you do really get to know the person. 3 months, they maybe can
See,
put
the
that on for a
representative still
minute.
may
Yeah.
be sitting around.
Here's the
Sure.
question, though: how do you, ladies, shift that when you get to that 6 months? And you're ready to shift into that exclusivity, because again, you can't tell a man what to do.
Oh, no, you can't tell him.
So, but how do you shift it?
But that's in conversation, because now my conversation is changing a little bit. The first questions during the first part of the time was just getting to know you, letting that representative excuse himself, and by the time that representative leaves, then I know, and we get to the heart of the man, heart of the woman. And so my conversation changes, because then my questions may go more to what's in your heart, what's on your mind. Finding if we both can find that vulnerable place for both of us, then I think we're, to me, it's like, okay, now we might be going somewhere, because then I could be thinking, I want to be exclusive, but what if he's not? I'll know by the way he answers those questions.
That's good. That's
Because
good.
if he answers them pretty freely, and and then I think we both then will decide, because I kind of want to, buy in from him too, that we're going to be exclusive. But if he starts to reel back, okay, you're not ready. And I need to be cognizant as a woman, because we sure can't tell him what to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I also don't have to go with your way, because if that's not what I want to do, I don't have to either.
Yeah.
And we do have choices.
Yes.
So I was just going to say, so if we've made it 6 months, it's apparent that I kind of like him. I may be feeling this conversation. And I definitely think, like you said, it's deliberate and
Yeah.
it's in the conversation.
Yeah.
Your idea was a little bit more subtle. So I'm going to pose a question. is there anything wrong with just asking, you know, do you want to be exclusive? Or like, how do you look at exclusivity?
Okay.
Or not asking him out, but
Right, I hear you.
like just asking him
I think that's
questions
I think it's great.
I think
about
I think it's great.
I think it would
I think
be,
it's great.
you know, where are we in this relationship at this point?
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? And
Yes.
that way he has no choice but to
Exactly.
tell
Tell
you.
me.
And whatever they say, believe them.
Yeah.
But
Some
then
people
the first time.
want to the first time.
The first
Some
time.
people want to push the envelope and, you know, kind of encourage them. You can't do that with a
No,
man. They have to be ready, and sometimes they're not going to tell you why they're not ready because it may be financial or whatever reason, or they may be connected to somebody else still.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
so give them the opportunity to tell you.
Exactly.
Anybody else? Okay, so now, you know, I think that it's interesting how when you're in that dating phase, some of us get caught up a little early.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe a little younger sisters, they get caught up a little early in their 20s, okay, 30s. And those of us that know better, we do better, right?
Absolutely.
But they get caught up physically
Yes.
instead of, you know,
Yeah.
really getting to know that young
Yeah.
man before they express those areas of physical
Okay.
Yeah.
intimacy. There you go. So what can we do to encourage them? Because my first thing would be set standards. Like you have to have a set of standards before going out on a date, even in your 20s.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I think it's a little bit more than that. Anybody want to add to that?
I actually posed this with my nieces last year,
Mm-hmm.
and they are all in college and, you know, having a good time and all that and dating. And just like we talked earlier about, you know, one of them asked me, so Auntie, who are you dating? And I said, well, you know, this guy and this guy. And she goes, oh my. And I said, no, see, calm down. You have to understand what I'm doing. Because if you're doing something different,
Right.
we need to talk.
Right. We need to have a
We need
conversation.
to have a conversation. I said, this is what I want you to tell yourself. By the time you're 20, and let's just say, for the sake of saying in the living room, you should have a number in your head of how many people you plan on being with intimately, physically, over your entire life. Go ahead and figure out what that number is. I said, so if you're telling me that you're dating and every person knows you,
Right.
That's a problem.
have you surpassed your number within 2 years of being in college? I said, the choice is yours, not theirs. Well, Auntie, I mean, but they, you know, what they won't take me out anymore. That's not the guy you go out with.
Right.
Because you have to set boundaries and standards for yourself because nobody else is going to do it. And you don't want to see yourself get down the road and find out that you have the number 25 on your back and you actually set a number as 5 when you were 20 and now you're only 35 and you got 25 on your back.
Because what you do today, you will continue to do. And
absolutely.
that's what they
That's
need to know.
Yes,
See, that's what people,
absolutely.
they're not
Exactly.
telling them that. If you
Exactly.
start that pattern, it will
Exactly.
continue.
It will continue.
Yes, princess.
But it also goes back to self-worth.
Yes.
You
And
have
what
to
we
know.
are teaching our daughters and our
Yes.
nieces and our little
Yes.
cousins and all of that.
Yes.
So, you know, we have young ladies that struggle with self-esteem, their self-worth.
Yes.
Maybe they didn't have a father or whoever at home to
Weight
tell them.
issues.
Yes.
Yeah, weight issues, everything. But it goes back to that and how you view yourself. That's why you have to kind of be good in your own body.
Skin. That's right.
Your
Yes.
own
That's
skin,
right.
even
Yes.
before you tackle the dating process, because
Exactly.
all of that will filter out into that.
It definitely
But it goes back to self-worth and what are you willing to do? How are you willing to live your life
Yes.
such that, you know, when you want to go into this exclusive dating situation, how you gonna get yourself out of this?
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
So how you go
Exactly.
in is how you want to come out of
Exactly.
it, and really you want to go in and come out of it whole.
Exactly.
That's good. That's
Most
good.
definitely.
I also think too that these young ladies need to have some type of relationship with God.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
That's what
Definitely.
keeps
Yes.
those
Oh, yeah.
standards in place.
Absolutely.
Not everybody has that.
Yeah.
And so, that's where mentors are very important, and,
Exactly.
being in that environment is important, but not everyone has that. And you touched on something about the fathers, and we talked about this in the guys show. When those young ladies don't have fathers in the home, I think it really, really is a mother or a big brother or an uncle's responsibility to reaffirm that young lady.
Absolutely.
And it had, again, we talked about it, but it has to be safe.
Yes.
Right.
Has to be a safe space because
yeah.
men take advantage of young ladies.
Exactly.
But I just really think that they need that because when you don't have someone of the opposite sex telling you, "Oh, you're so pretty,
yeah.
you look
Exactly.
nice," those things,
Oh, yeah.
you will seek it
Absolutely.
outside of that.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
they're starving for that attention.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And what they don't realize is they'll start going to each man for something they didn't get at home
Absolutely.
because they're starving, they're thirsty. And to me, that's kind of where that word came from. But it's only because there's a lack somewhere.
Yeah.
And then that's how that cycle starts. And it's just,
Absolutely.
you have to. I feel like we all could, be the village and help them, like pull it back, dial it down just a little bit.
And another great way to do that too is affirmations.
Yes.
Yeah.
People, we
Yes.
know it. Put those affirmations up, the
I
word
have
of
them.
God,
Yes,
those things that tell you
absolutely.
you're beautiful because
Yes.
they may not have that male that they
Yeah,
can trust
right.
that or
Exactly.
feel comfortable with or whatever. So I think that that's very important as well. But to see young ladies go through that and
Yeah.
once they start that, it just
Yeah.
it's,
Can I
comes-
also
yeah.
say that it also happens to older women
Yes, it does.
it does.
just as bad as it will for the young ones? If, let's say, if the lady got married at early age
Absolutely.
and then she's been divorced for 15, 20 years and it just doesn't seem anybody's paying attention, she's going to also have that same feeling of, am I still worth it? Do I still, attract a man because nobody's saying anything? And so we do have to be careful that, as much as we pay attention to the young ones, I also feel like that's why we, again, create that village for the older women too, to have a living room that we can sit and talk
Yeah,
about.
I mean, but, and then the other thing is with that, you have to tell yourself, I look good.
Exactly.
I don't do it for nobody else.
Exactly.
I do it for me.
Exactly.
And I'm good.
Yeah, okay, I'm good by myself. You don't like it, I'm good all by myself. So I think, you have to have those moments because you do go through that. I mean,
Absolutely.
oh my gosh. Anyway, y'all, we can get into that all day. And so, just especially when you have those mothers with children,
Yes.
and they have other responsibilities.
Yes.
And anyway, so to that point, work-life balance.
Yes.
That self-care is huge
Very.
in helping with that.
Yes.
What do you guys do for self-care?
I think it makes me feel a little bit more feminine if I get my nails done. Do a facial, my own facial from time to time.
Okay.
Take a nice bath. Just having that extra time that I take to, do my lashes or, put on a nice facial in the morning before I go to work. Or also when I wake up in the morning, just having some me time.
Yes.
Cup of coffee and sit by myself and
Yes.
reflect.
Right.
So those are some things I do for self-care.
Okay. I journal.
Yeah.
Journaling is journaling is a good one,
Yeah,
and I absolutely massages.
Okay.
Massages, yes.
Love those.
I do that
But
too.
sometimes, guys, when it's a nice day like today out,
Yeah.
I just sit outside and chill out.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love nature. I
Yeah.
love looking at the stars
Yes.
and all the
Yeah.
trees and all of that.
Good.
So sometimes I just sit out and
Yeah.
chill out. We do a lot throughout
We
the
do.
course of the day, working and dealing with everything. So
About it.
We do.
just chill out.
I actually book a room,
Okay.
check myself in,
Okay.
lay
Come
out,
on, princess.
order room service.
Come on.
She was grand. I do. I love it.
I love it.
I check myself in sometimes.
I love it.
And
That's
listen,
amazing.
it's not that I have,
Check myself
it's not that I
in.
have a house full of people.
Yeah.
It's
But
just to get out,
different
different
away, and
environment.
get a
Yes.
different area,
Uh-huh.
Great.
and
I like
just
it. I like
do
it.
my nails and all of that, pedicure, manicure, massage, but I go to a
Exactly.
hotel and check myself in, have a staycation.
That's it. That's it. And
I
my other one is the beach. I love the beach.
Love
I have to get to some water every now and
Feet
again.
in the water.
Ashley?
I was like, you took it. Feet in the water. But I also try to start my day like really simple. I never let my feet hit the ground because you know how we run. I'm like, God, thank you
Yeah.
for today.
Yeah.
That is
Yes.
like part one of my
Yes.
self-care.
Yeah.
Whether I'm going to the
Mhm.
salon after that, it's fine. Whether I take a bath or if I go to the spa, like those moments are good. But even before those moments begin,
Yeah.
God, I thank you
Yes,
for giving me
yes, I think
that
that's
day.
everybody.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Me too.
absolutely. Because girl, listen, without him, okay, listen,
Hard life.
listen, right? Amen. Look, if that's the case, I have self-care moments all the time.
All throughout the day, driving over here.
Yes, yes,
Self-care.
all of it, all
my
of it. That is
goodness. Oh my
so
goodness.
good, guys.
That's great.
We're going to shift a little bit to talk about wealth. And, you know, wealth is that concept that people automatically say money. No,
Yeah.
wealth
Not always.
in conjunction with self-care
Yeah.
is a wealth of
Yes.
peace,
Exactly.
a wealth of joy.
Exactly.
Okay, what else does wealth mean to you guys?
I think for me, wealth is stability.
That's a good one.
That
Wealth
is
is
good.
stability for me. And like you say, I'm not necessarily talking about money, but even if my emotions are stable,
Oh yeah.
my thoughts are stable, which
Yeah.
it helps to read some word because that's what will help stabilize you. But for me, wealth is really about stability. It's about being able to hold on and persevere
Yeah.
and see yourself on the other side.
Yeah.
And you don't, what did you say earlier? Don't look like what I've been through.
Absolutely.
That's a wealthy place.
That is a
for
wealthy
me.
place.
That's a wealthy
That's
place.
good.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Wealth for me is health.
Okay.
Okay.
I remember
Yeah.
maybe 6 years ago, I began praying. This is my New Year's thing that I don't make resolutions. I pray and I ask God for health in all areas of life.
That's
Okay.
good.
Very good.
And
like
so wealth is health to me, health in my physical body, health in my emotional,
Yes.
health in my mental, health in my financial, health in my spiritual, all of it.
Yes.
So wealth, and it helps you to get to that stability that you were talking about, that wealthy place. So
Exactly.
yeah.
That's good.
I was gonna say I love peace of mind, being able to wake up in the morning
That's
and just stress-free living.
Yes.
We went through a hard year last year.
Yes, we
just being
did.
able to wake up in the morning and whether I'm going to work or just relaxing, just having that peace of mind is
Yeah.
definitely something that I need, and not just in this season, in life.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. For me, wealth is staying true to my values, figuring out what my values are, and although they evolve throughout the different seasons and changes, just being able to know what they are and stay true to them. For me, that's what wealth is, along with everything you all said. So coupled with that, I think we're some wealthy women.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think so.
And to that point, wealth in relationships is key.
Exactly.
Everybody in your circle needs to be wealthy.
Yes.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So now,
Yes.
when you come up against someone, and we can go back to the opposite sex for a second. When you come up against someone that has wealthy relationships in their life, and they are entering into your space, can you imagine what that will be like?
Yeah.
Okay? Give us your picture. Give us your picture.
You saw it.
I see it. It's happening. It's happening right now. I think that's it. I think because I am stable, wealthy, stable, and then the man that's coming now is wealthy, stable in of himself and sure of himself. What you see is you do see consistency, but you also see this bright light.
Yeah.
That it's like the room looks brighter and nobody changed the curtains or the lamps or anything. You start to see the light and you start to see how you look at each other, how the conversation with each other is happening a little bit different because you now are recognizing, wow, like this relationship is wealthy.
Wow.
Because like I said, now, I told you about the hurricanes and the tornadoes and the other relationship, and you can finally see this doesn't look like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This doesn't look like that.
Because when your wealth gets a little bit low, that person's wealth should pour back into you. Does that make
Exactly.
sense?
Sure.
It's an exchange.
Yes.
It's an exchange.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Anybody else have anything on that? Friendships. That was relationships.
Okay.
Friendships. All of my friends are wealthy, so But you do come up against people that are acquaintances that they just don't have the level of wealth that you have, and you don't want to push them away, right? So you got to show that love to them. But I think it's during that time that God may have you in their life for a season. You pour into them because if they need it,
Right.
they need it. And maybe they've never seen an example of somebody being, consistent with them or genuinely loving them and genuinely having exchanges with them. It was so interesting. Somebody out of the blue texted me one day. She said, thank you for being my friend.
Oh, wow.
I don't say that. You can't say that to many people. And I'm just like, okay. I'm like, okay, but that's just who I am.
Right.
And so for her to say that, I was like, well, wow. Okay, maybe she hadn't seen consistency in friendship.
Yeah.
And that goes straight across the board. You can say consistency in love, relationships, and all of that.
Yeah.
What do you think contributes to that wealth?
I think it's the places where people have been in their lives.
That's true.
And if they've seen lack or whatever, if they're smart, you then go forward creating something that you didn't have versus using that as an excuse to say, well, I didn't get it, so I'm not giving it.
Right.
And so I think that's what contributes, kind of being in that wealthy place, that you want to keep building what you didn't have.
Right.
And so then as you go and you meet other people, you want to give that same energy.
To them. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so guys, I think, you know what? We are at a place where we're going to take a break. But right after this, we'll be back with more of the ladies in the lively living room right here on The Circuit with Valerie. I'm your host, Valerie Somerville.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
So guys, I know that this is a touchy subject, and I know I have some mothers in this group, but what about when we're just talking about wealthy relationships and all of that wonderful stuff? First of all, what are the 5 things that you look for when you're looking for that significant other?
Okay.
What are the 5 things that you need?
Me.
Look, this mother's sharing it today.
When you asked that question earlier, I was really kind of flipping through, and there's probably 15 things, but I can get it down. My first thing is I want a faith-filled man.
Okay.
Because that's something that, being a woman of a certain age, you kind of want to have a little bit of a connection from a spiritual standpoint. Because the way relationships are, if Jesus is not in the center,
It's not gonna
you're
last.
not going to have a lasting relationship. I want a faithful man. And a lot of times people say, well, isn't that the same thing if he's faith-filled? No, ma'am. Because he can be full of faith, but will not be faithful.
Come on.
Now, I need you, sir, I need you to be full of faith and faithful. The next thing is I would love for him to be my friend. And we don't have to start out as friends, but if we can make sure as we're creating that relationship that we're also cultivating a friendship between us. Because I'll tell you, a lot of times a guy will be upset with you because he loves you and walks away, but a guy never leaves his friend.
That's right.
Never leaves his friend, because the one thing he's going to say is, but that's my dog, like I can't do it like that. So they're not going to do that. The next thing is financially stable. And I know, fellas, I'm not talking always about the millionaire, the six-figure man.
Yeah.
You can be financially stable in the thousands of dollars that you make right now.
Right.
And if you can take care of yourself consistently, and you are financially stable in that which you have, then you are a great candidate for me to call you and answer the phone. The next thing is, so the last one would be, okay, can I go there?
You tipping a little bit, but go ahead.
I'm gonna go. Can he have a little freak in him? Just
Come on, all the F's. Yes, all the F's. Yes.
Freak in him now.
Yes.
If he's my man,
Okay.
and you know, as bubbly as I like my personality to be, not don't come in and be all quiet and like, because when we home, bro, it's it's good. And we gonna be good. So he can be a little forthcoming. And, a couple of fun things, that he can think of. So to me, that makes like a well-rounded man. For me,
That's good.
For me, that's what it is.
Okay. Anybody want to? Yes.
I'll jump in.
Angel.
Come on in the water.
So I definitely can't start without speaking about the spiritual piece. He has to have a relationship with God. So that is very important. I don't have to say the 100 scriptures that tell us we need that, but that's very important. Secondly, along with that, I need him to have balance between the spiritual, the corporate, the little bit of urban. I need I need a little urban.
Come on.
And like you said, I'm gonna add it in. I need you to be a little freak and know when to use them and go, visit with the urban. And I need you to know how to have balance and take it from urban to corporate measures, and then be the Christian when you need to be. I also want a man that knows how lucky or blessed he is to have me, and in that regard can show it. I want someone who definitely has a person that he looks up to, or a covering, or a mentor, whatever. It's a bunch of different cute words we can use, but someone that he answers to and is accountable to. Yes, absolutely. And then lastly, the friendship piece, because if we don't feel like we married, I need there to be a foundation of friendship. If you want to go and be mad, that's fine. But what you cooking? We friends, and I think that it has what you cooking.
What you cooking? What's for
I love it.
Yeah, and of course there are a few more, but those are my top 5.
Okay.
What is my top 5?
What's your top 5?
Trust.
Okay.
I gotta have somebody that I can trust. I don't have time to be looking through your phone. I'm not gonna do that. But I'm just saying, trust has to be there on both directions.
Exactly.
The second thing, and this is not in any order, by no means. Friendship. I really would value friendship, because I know even friendship, like you were saying, even friendship as it relates to love. We're friends first. That love will be there, and that love will blossom. Respect has to be there. Respect, as far as respecting who I am, how you speak to me,
Absolutely.
how you treat me, all of that. How many of those? I don't know how many of that.
I should have been counting.
Okay, let's go.
Give me
Spiritual. Okay.
Okay.
You have to know how to pray.
Come on.
You got to know how to pray. Not only to pray, but to honor God as your head.
Right.
Okay, so God is your head, and both of us, and being accountable, just like you said, to make sure that God is the center of all that we do, and then I need somebody. I think this is the last one. Is just to be fun,
Fun.
in
every area of life. Every area.
Fun and spontaneous. If you want to pat us up, for the weekend. We go to the beach.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
That's what I want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
All right. I would say the same thing, and also family. That's something that's
Oh,
really important
yeah.
to me. He
Yeah.
has to love
Oh, wow.
his family.
Yep.
Faith. He has to know how to pray. Cover me. I'm a
Yes.
firm believer in covering before I walk out the door.
Yeah.
You know, I come from a huge family who prays.
Yeah.
Family, friends, fun,
Oh, yeah.
financially stable.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like you said, just not talking about money.
Right.
Peace was my big aspect, but I also just I love being able to say, hey, you know what? Let's, like you said, either go to the beach
Yeah.
or let's go to Hawaii for the weekend. You know what I mean? Things like
Hawaii.
that. Just
Exactly.
spontaneous is
Yes.
another thing. Spontaneous. I don't want to do the same thing over and over and over
Right.
again.
That's good.
Exactly.
You know,
That's real
I think that's 4. Do I owe you another one? No, maybe.
Yes.
Give
Five.
it to
Yeah,
him.
all of us.
Give it to him.
Kind. He
Oh,
needs
yeah.
to be kind.
Yeah.
He
Yes.
has to be kind.
Yes.
Well, you all have encapsulated mine, except
Okay.
you got to be able to communicate.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be able to communicate, and that comes in with the friendship piece.
Yeah.
It does.
So when you all said friendship, it triggered
does.
that bit in me. But yeah, you have to be able to communicate
Yes.
and keeping
Yes.
those lines of communication open,
Yes.
even
good.
when things are rough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even the
Even
hard
when-
Being able to have the hard
Yes.
conversations.
Hard conversations.
Yes, you may need to take a minute. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still need for us to still talk about it because we have to get on the same page about whatever we're
Right.
dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it for that one. But so
I
now
love it.
thinking about all of that, we encounter many kind of men.
We do. We do.
So we were talking about on the guys show how ladies raise boys, right? And we know they need male mentors, and sometimes they're over nurtured.
Yeah.
But what we don't like when we are looking for what we want is a mama's boy.
All right.
Please.
Keep them.
Hello.
I mean, I just, it's nothing wrong. Let me be clear about what I'm saying. It's nothing wrong with you honoring your mom
Yes.
and being able to take care of your
Absolutely.
mom. But don't expect me to be your mama.
Right.
Okay.
I am
There's
not
a
she.
difference.
I am not she.
I'm not she.
I'm
That's
not
right.
she.
And so I think that that's a distinguishing factor when guys come and meet us.
Yeah.
They should expect the same level of care that they once got at that
From
age.
their mama.
From their mama, from their wife to their wife.
Exactly.
And a lot of times that happens because that's how they encountered their first encounter with a lady. But by now, at our ages, they should have encountered many more.
Yeah.
So what are some experiences that you all have had? Have you all experienced the mama's boy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ash, she said yes.
But it's her face, though. It's the
It's the
face.
face for me. It's the face for me.
Well, no, there's nothing wrong with, like you said, loving your mom.
Yeah.
But I met someone, and we're friends till this day, and we joke about it. But he liked for his clothes to be ironed.
Okay.
He liked for things to be a certain way. I used to say he's OCD. He liked cooking by a certain hour,
Okay.
and he also liked things to be cleaned up immediately. So for me, there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, no.
But I think when
But
you
is he doing this or you had to do it?
Well, hold on. Go ahead, Ash.
it came up in conversation, and I said,
Okay.
"This is all fine, but I'm not this. I don't fit that mold." You know, and I grew up in a household where my mom
Yeah.
took care of my dad. Like I admired that. I wanted that. I want to do that. Don't ask me or expect me to do it. And then if I don't do it right away, make me feel as if I'm not wife or girlfriend material.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But now it speaks to what Sheridan was saying, which is where I was going next. I think we have to clearly define what are the roles in our relationship,
Right,
because sometimes those gender roles change.
Exactly.
Sometimes, I mean, and I think that that's an expectation that we need to set prior to in that dating phase. So that you don't go down the road with this person. We need to have that conversation. And I know, it's like, okay, well, when do you do that? You don't want to do that in the first not 3 months, but
Yeah.
that
But
6
by that
months.
6 months.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yes, that's the time to have those conversations, because
Exactly.
if not, you're wasting your time.
Right.
And time is not only money, but it's precious.
Yes,
And
it
another
is.
someone out there waiting on.
Yes, it is. Yes,
So
it is.
I think that gender roles need to be expressed.
Yeah.
And with that, I just think too, sometimes that guys that are raised in traditional households, they expect every woman to be like that. And it's like, no, I have a job, I'm an
Exactly.
entrepreneur, I make
Exactly.
6 figures just like you.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Girl, this is the conversation to have, because
Yeah.
the thing is, mama's boys, I have a son, handsome man, but because I ended up raising my children predominantly as a single parent, I had to tear down the wall of what I saw my parents do. And I recognize I can't do that here because I have a boy and a girl. I am the only one in here, but guess what? I'm the only one working. So I can't come in and cook for you and clean for you and do all that because you're 16. And so you're going to then grow up with this expectation that, oh, all I get to do is sit back and
Yeah.
no. When I came home, all the rules, they fluctuated each week. So my daughter, when it's time to take out the trash, that's your week. Okay, that's what you do. You'll be all right. You, okay, time to wash dishes, cooking, everything. And all the rules rotated back and forth. So now that both of them are adults, I pray that the girlfriend tells me, she hadn't said anything yet, so it must be okay. That, he understood it, because when you deal with that, and I think, like you said, when you grew up a certain way, and then you expect now this woman in 2021
Yes.
that can be the same. But the thing is, it's not fair because my mom didn't work a full-time job like I do now.
Right.
Or like we women do
Absolutely.
now. And so the expectation has to change.
Very true.
It
And,
has to change.
and I've heard another young man that grew up in a similar situation say that he appreciated it because some of these women don't know how to cook, is what he said. They don't know how to cook.
Exactly.
So now, I know how to take care of myself. I'm not worried about it. I'm good.
Yeah.
And it's important that, they accept some of those responsibilities of cleaning the house and
Exactly.
just like, because it
Exactly.
helps when you get to a household in the 21st century.
And partnership.
Absolutely.
With that cooking, cleaning, and all of that. To me, it's all a partnership.
It's all partnership.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we look, this generation, some of us, maybe some who are more traditional, kind of look to emulate those older relationships or what our mom and dad had. But like you all said,
Yeah,
we
because
have
the
to define it and make it work for us in this moment, this
Absolutely.
time, in this
Circumstances
season.
totally different.
Yeah,
back
circumstances
Absolutely.
are totally different,
Yeah.
and then it also brings into play trying to do what the Joneses do. That may
You can't
not
keep
work
up with
for
the
your
Joneses.
family.
Absolutely.
Because over here we have 4 children; they may not have any.
right.
And so what works for your schedule, what
Exactly.
works for your mindset, or the way you
Exactly.
think and learn and maneuver. So
Exactly.
everything is deliberate. It has to be
Yes,
talked about,
that's
and
the
it
word,
has to be
deliberate.
yes, it
Communication.
has to be communication.
Yeah,
It has to be.
So, and I think that also goes for sex too, guys. And I'm gonna be honest. Guys have a appetite. And we cannot shut the garage. That is not the answer. So don't even go there.
Right.
No clue.
Right.
Even when you're tired, you had a long day, a report, and all of that.
Right.
Look,
I need for you.
That's right.
Let me talk to this camera right here. I need for you to take a moment, pull your whole self together,
Together.
and make it happen.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
Yeah.
Because what you won't do, another woman will open it to
Absolutely.
your man.
Exactly.
To your man.
Wide
So you
open.
don't want that. And so you
Absolutely.
cannot close that door
right.
on him. You have to
Exactly.
find a way.
Exactly.
And I know it's hard. It's not, people can say that all day until
Yeah.
they get in your shoes.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But you have
Yeah.
to make the sacrifices to make it work. Some
Exactly.
people say, okay, well, we're on a schedule. Well, what if he comes in and he had a bad day and he just, needs to release some stress?
Exactly.
What are you going to do?
The dishes can wait.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
That's
There you go.
Something.
And we can order in for him and me. And we can go on in this back room here and talk about your day, sir. Let's talk about
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Let me tell you
Let's
this.
talk about your day.
to you since they were mean. Let me be kind to you. Because the thing is, the reason why I said let's not wash the dishes right now, because a lot of times we'll stay in that cycle and think I still have to complete all of this to get to that, but he doesn't have time. Because now what it looks like to him is you're still prioritizing everything else in front of me.
Yes.
I get that at work. I don't want to come home and get the same thing.
Right.
The dishes can stay in the sink. It's not going to bother anybody. Now, don't let them stay 2 or 3 days, but now today they can sit.
That's
Kids
good.
can eat Chick-fil-A. It won't
That's
kill
good.
them.
Yeah.
They love
Right.
it anyway.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
And Uber Eats, Grubhub, and all of that stuff.
Right.
baby,
There's
that'll
no way
still
around
happen.
it. Okay.
It can still happen. But we just got to sometimes take ourselves, like you said, everything can't be cookie cutter.
Right.
Bring some spontaneity in there when you can look at his face and tell what kind of day he's had. Before you even speak to him, you already know. Get your
Absolutely.
phone out, start dialing.
Yeah.
And just tell him, baby, go on in there and lay down. You'll be all
Oh
right.
yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Because, and that's another tidbit, ladies. When a man comes home from work, please
Please.
do not request anything from him.
Exactly.
Give him a moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Give him a moment. I know we don't like to address that because what we feel like what's going on at home is important.
Yeah.
But he needs a moment so that he can debrief and be present. Because if
Exactly.
not,
The answer is going to be
it's gonna be
no.
womp, 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 womp. Okay?
And what if it is you want, he going to say no, but see if you wait a little while.
Yeah.
You can get a yes out of
Say
it.
maybe.
You get a yes later.
Yeah. And then,
But
you know,
that's why friendship is so important.
Exactly.
You know, we're friends even before we get married.
Yeah.
All of those things, it will be important to me.
Yeah.
And I'll know when he has a bad day or a good day. I can see it on his face. I'll know all the things that we've gone through, even in the dating stage.
Yeah.
And that friendship that we formed helps me when we get married and we go through
Exactly.
things like that. And I don't have to prioritize. We can be spontaneous. We
Right.
can call Chick-fil-A. We can do all of this. We can handle ourselves in the business. In the back.
right. Have all kinds of business and fun.
Exactly.
Yes, it does. And that's when you get to know them.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's when you get to know them.
And I was gonna say that speaks to true intimacy.
Yes.
We were talking in the beginning,
Yeah.
and we were kind of talking about like maybe giving the message to the young girls to keep their legs closed.
Exactly.
And because they think that intimacy is
Is that.
physical. Right. Real intimacy is when
Intimacy.
Yes.
when you can see into that other
Yes.
person and you can
Yeah.
read them when they walk through the door
Absolutely.
and
Exactly.
respond to what they need in that moment and not go into questions or requests immediately.
Exactly.
Right.
Let them decompress from their day. And I definitely think that's why intimacy is
Yeah.
important. That goes back
Exactly.
to friendship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And some people don't handle it like that. Some people don't think like that. You know,
Yeah.
people are out there saying all kinds of stuff about how you should handle your sex life. First of all, you can't tell me
There's no
how to
rule.
handle my sex life.
That's
With my
right.
husband. Let me be clear.
Exactly.
Let me be clear with
With
my
my
husband.
husband.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 There's no rule book to it, though, is what I feel
It's
like
not.
everyone should kind of know.
Mm-hmm.
It's whatever works for the two of you.
Absolutely.
Outside of anything you thought or whatever, I just think really the greatest coming together
Yes.
is when the both of us are in agreement with whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, and I can unlearn everything that I learned from the past relationship.
You
There you
can
go.
Just be
unlearn.
really
Hashtag-
present.
Yes, you can
Hashtag
unlearn.
unlearn.
Exactly.
And you teach me about you. Tell me what you
Exactly.
do. And then you
Exactly.
get to the point where you don't have to tell him anymore.
Exactly.
You can read it and he knows, or I can
Exactly.
read him and he knows.
And if it changes, and I'm specifically speaking sex-wise, if it changes, you can say that.
We can talk
See
about
that
it.
that's where that I'm
Yes.
telling you that communication is key. That's where that communication comes in at because you're comfortable with talking about it.
Exactly.
You know, sometimes we want to tiptoe around those areas and think that he's supposed to know.
Yes.
He can't read your mind.
He
Can't read your mind. So speak up,
Exactly.
ladies.
Right.
Yes.
Say what you have to
Talk
say.
loud, talk loud, talk loud.
Because
Yeah.
they're going to ask you.
Exactly.
Absolutely,
Or they
yeah.
may not. Or they may not. But the thing is I think that's when we have to own what we are thinking in our head to have that open communication, not to think that, maybe I shouldn't tell him this or maybe I shouldn't tell him that because it may be something even sensitive for us.
Yeah.
But again, if you have that open communication,
Yeah.
and
And that
things will
friendship.
just be,
Mhm.
I just think things would be so much better
Yeah.
if we as women can do that as well.
Mhm.
Because we're always telling them, talk to me, tell me what's on your
Right.
mind.
Right.
Yeah.
But are we always doing that ourselves, or are we
That's
always
right.
thinking
In our
first
heads,
and in
yeah.
our own head, and we're trying to calculate? Well, what's he thinking? What's he doing? What if you,
Right.
you just ask?
Now, just ask,
Just
because
ask.
the thing about it is, they don't want a whole bunch of words.
Yeah.
Right.
Bottom shelf it. Because, you know, we can deal with details.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
cannot.
Line it.
So bottom shelf it, say what you
Yeah.
need to say. I always say that. And they will do what, you know, they may not do it the way. So now when you bottom shelf it, make sure you're specific.
Very specific. Exactly. Very specific.
Almost like a grocery list.
That's what it is.
Clearly. this, and this.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Now we've talked about so many things on this in this conversation, but I think one thing we have not touched on is just being able to move through this relationship with this man from stage to stage to stage, right? They, just like us,
Yeah.
go through changes,
Yeah.
you know, and so being able to handle that. And it goes back to that communication piece. It goes back to, you know, really, I think sometimes, especially when you get in the older years, you have to show more, and I know this is going to sound real interesting, customer service to them.
Oh, most definitely.
Okay. And that's just, you know, and it's
Most definitely.
reciprocal.
Yes,
It's
yeah,
reciprocal.
absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
reciprocal. But I think we just have to be very cautious and kind and all that stuff to them, because sometimes they go through things and they won't say it. They hold on to that.
They will.
You know, and so you just kind of have to, after knowing them, take an account for what you know about them, but what they may not say. And those probing questions,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know, or a probing conversation is needed during those times. So, well, you know, guys, I must say, you know, we ladies love to do one thing. Well, I'm not gonna say most of us, because some of us don't. But
What is
we're gonna have a little fun right here.
Tell me
We're gonna have a little fun.
Where's she going with this?
Oh,
Where's she
no.
going?
How many of you all like shopping?
Oh,
There it is. There it is. I knew it. So we're gonna play a little word association. Y'all ready?
Okay.
All right.
I think so, yes.
First thing you think of when it comes to your head: shoes.
You just said, first thing I think of when it comes to
Shoes.
The higher the better.
Shoes.
Snakes.
Shoes.
Flats.
Shoes.
I was thinking flats.
Me, open toe heels.
Okay.
All right. Vacations.
Beach.
Okay.
Oh goodness. Away from home.
Okay.
International.
I'm here. International beach. There it is.
I was thinking somewhere in the tropics, but relaxation.
Yes. So now, ladies, what we were talking about shopping. What brands do you like? What brands of shoes do you like the most?
I'll be honest. I am always
You're all over the place?
Over the place.
All
Yeah.
over the
I was
place,
just asked this question the other day. Here's how I kind of do it. It depends on where I am in the city. If I'm in Buckhead, I'm going looking for Calvin Klein or Nine West or something. If I'm here in Atlanta, if I'm out of the city, you know, I am going to look for, you know, a little more upscale, because probably somebody else is buying the shoe. So, you know, she'll love a Gucci and, you know, a little red button. You know, when somebody else is paying for it.
All right.
I like it.
And look, you just learned something, didn't you? Okay, I told you, she is.
You keep unfolding everything. Yes. I love a good old Fendi shoe. And
Okay.
If I have on a freakum dress for a Friday night and some red bottoms and
Did she say a freakum dress?
Yes,
I
she
like
did.
it. I like it.
Yes, I'm getting on, but it's still the freakum dress.
It's still the freakum dress. I love it.
Yes.
I'm just all over the place with shoes, but I think probably Nine West is my favorite.
I like Giuseppe.
Yeah, I like them
I
too.
love their strappy sandals.
Yeah.
But I just go for comfort nowadays.
Comfort,
Yeah.
Okay.
that's it.
For comfort.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I would have to say a Steve Madden for me. I love
Okay.
Steve Madden.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. All right. So let's talk restaurants. And I know we're in the city of Atlanta, but restaurants.
So many.
I don't know.
Del Frisco's.
Yes. Yes. Love that one.
I'm a Seasons 52 girl. I
Okay.
love their stuff. Yeah.
What is it?
Seasons 52.
They change.
You gotta
every
check 'em
season.
out.
You have to.
Yes.
And so do you. If you have one in
Yes.
your city, make sure you check it out.
I don't have a favorite.
Okay. That's okay.
I love the Consulate in Atlanta.
Okay.
I've never been there.
So for those of you who like international travel,
Okay.
So every quarter they visit a different location in the world, and they bring back the food from that culture.
Nice.
They have their own house menu, and so
Yeah.
on the house menu they have really nice gourmet burgers, grass-fed burgers.
Okay.
But
wow.
but the Consulate Atlanta,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
right off of 10th Street. It's
Okay.
amazing. I
Wow.
have never had anything on their menu that something that place owes me nothing.
Okay. I love it.
So for me, when it comes to restaurants, of course the food has to be good, but the ambiance really sets it for
Yeah.
me.
Yes.
So if I'm in Atlanta,
Yeah.
Ray's on the River
Ray's
is
on
one of my
the
favorite.
River.
It's one of my favorite.
Yes.
If you have never visited Ray's on the River when you're in Atlanta, do that. And I'm definitely going to the Consulate. If you have a consulate in your city, make sure you check it out. Ladies, this has been a lively living room, and you're watching The Circuit with Valerie. I'm your host, Valerie Somerville. Make sure you follow all of these lovely ladies on IG, and of course, follow us at The Circuit with Valerie on Facebook and IG with the same name.
This time.